Hi, how's it going? Today is simply going to be a Secret Invasion special because issue 5 was out last week and there was 3 tie-ins that I got, and also I've got a bit of a cold and a sore throat, so I don't want to talk for too long, even though I probably will end in talking for like 7 or 8 minutes. Basically, I go into the shop looking forward to Secret Invasion 5, even though I've been pretty pissed off, since, I think about halfway through issue 2, and I've just been severely disappointed, and then I see that the issue is this thick, and I'm just like, stop screwing me out of my money, Marvel. I want a proper issue, and it is a proper issue. It's full of action. It's great. The Secret Invasion is finally going somewhere. As I said, a hell of a lot of action. It seemed a bit contrived or pushed before when it was switching between New York and the Savage Lands. But this is really good. A lot of action takes place in the Savage Lands, and I don't want to spoil it too much because I think everyone should be buying this series because it's about to really, really pick up. What I will spoil for you in little ways is the tie-ins, because a lot of people don't want to buy a lot of tie-ins, because I was personally, I felt very, very let down by the Civil War tie-ins because I bought a hell of a lot of them. But there's a lot of these ones that are actually really shaping up. The 3 I'm going to talk about are Secret Invasion, INHUMANS, THOR, and X-Men. Now, what I really, really loved about these 3 issues was there's 2 currents of underlying backstory and theme throughout it, and it's of the family, the theme of the family, and the other theme is of religion, and that's particularly, that also runs through Secret Invasion, with the He Loves You, which is only now starting to kind of open itself up after, I think it was said like 3 times in the first issue, and not really that much afterwards, just dotted throughout. That's really picking up in issue 5, but in the INHUMANS issue, that was particularly impressive, because what I loved about this was that you don't really need to have that much of a previous knowledge of the INHUMANS to enjoy this comic. It opens up on a really, really beautiful few pages of artwork. We open up on these stained glass windows that kind of document the history of the INHUMANS, and at the same time this is a really clever way to introduce those who might not be that familiar with the INHUMANS into the story. So basically this Inhuman teacher figure goes into how the family is the thing at the very core of Inhuman society, in that it's their strength in their family relations that keeps them together. It's their secret weapon is this tightness between everyone. The problem is with the Skrulls and what they're doing on Earth at the moment, it's completely breaking all that apart, because you can't trust the man standing next to you. Now that's one thing if you can't trust your teammate, but you can't trust your brother and sister or even your wife, then that's a whole nother story. And this situation has reached Atalan, the Inhuman headquarters, and it's really well written. The art's fantastic, and at the end there's a big reveal to how what's been happening with Black Bolt since the Illuminati issues, and we find out, and I'm not going to spoil it, but it's absolutely great, and the Skrulls have big plans for Black Bolt. This is definitely the best panel in the whole comic, probably the most important one too. It's just the depth of the artwork and the emotion conveyed through it is just astounding, for such a small panel. So Secret Invasion X-Men is a good logical step next, because it ties in with the same themes as the last one, especially with religion and not being able to trust the man next to you. The thing that sticks out with this comic is the art. It's absolutely impeccable, especially the colouring from Dave McCraig. There's basically 3 blue characters, Nightcrawler, Beast, and Cyclops, and those 3 particularly look absolutely fantastic. I'll get more into the artwork later, but we open the book, and it's quite funny, because the Skrulls are talking about how, this is San Francisco, there's no superheroes here, and for those of you that don't know, the X-Men just recently moved to San Francisco, so they get, taken by surprise, and it's the imagery is great because there's all the skyscrapers and stuff, and there's these little vehicles that are like transport vehicles, and they're very, very reminiscent of the British ferries going across during World War One and Two to the French coast, and that's what I really liked because it's basically just a box with people standing or sitting in it, and I really liked that. It was kind of taking something from our history and putting it into this world with obviously an alien race. Very clever, very good. I enjoyed that. The main theme behind this, I'd say, is the idea of religion, and we see that most specifically with Nightcrawler, and also there's a kind of almost like a sermon which is taking place by this skull priest before the soldiers go out, and it's getting a real insight into actually maybe these skulls aren't as evil as we think, and actually they're just on some kind of what's actually described in the book as a crusade. So after Cyclops blasts this Skrull priest, this purple ball, which is like a relic, rolls towards Nightcrawler and he picks it up. And we all know how religious Nightcrawler is. He's probably the most religious X-Man, let alone one of the most religious characters in the Marvel Universe. And Nightcrawler starts having this religious experience with the ball and hearing these voices, and it's all very calm and very relaxed and very religious. I think this is going to be the point where the whole Secret Invasion gets a lot more interesting, because we're not looking at the Skrulls as these kind of killing machines and these kind of chameleons that are going to stab you in the back. They've also got this element of religion to them now, which is just going to make them a lot more dangerous. As we know with the world as it is, this idea of religious fundamentalism and extremism is just a scary, scary thought, and the writers of Secret Invasion are bringing it all back home with this to the world as it is today, and I think it's a really scary thought, but very well done at the same time. There's been some deep thought going into this, and it's going to be appreciated in the end product, I'm sure. Going back to the artwork, it's basically flawless. You should buy it. If not just for the artwork, it's fantastic. There's one little bit where, although we're now looking at Skrulls in this new light, they're still remorseless killing machines, and we can see it in this panel, and it's almost Sin City-esque, which I enjoyed. Finally, just a quick bit on the Secret Invasion Thor. Didn't enjoy this much as the other two tie-ins, but it was still very good. I did enjoy how, again, this introduces you slowly into the world of Thor if you didn't know what was going on before. With a lot of the Civil War tie-ins, I think they dropped you in the deep end a bit too much if you weren't familiar with the characters and the storylines that were going on at the moment outside Civil War. But I think this really lets you in gently. It's all relevant to what's going on in Secret Invasion, and there's a great cameo appearance from Beta Ray Bill. Worth buying, but I did think the other two issues were better. That is, Secret Invasion, X-Men, and Inhumans were better issues. But again, I'm sure this will pan out and be very relevant and be a good story. After all, it's Matt Fraction. You can expect that from him. So just to finish up, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, you can message me or just post a comment below, and I promise I'll get back to you. If you want to subscribe, you just press the button there. Thanks a lot for watching. I should have another video coming tomorrow or the next day with this week's comics, which will be Captain America, Iron Fist Origin of Danny Rand, the new Uncanny X-Men, and I'm missing one out. Oh yeah, Amazing Spider-Man, which I don't buy, but there's a new storyline. So I'll be reviewing them, plus I'll be doing my usual bits with Blast from the Past and so on. Thanks again for watching.